Hello, everybody. I am here presenting the notes, outlines, and first exercise for the Hypnotic NLP Anchoring Applied 101 course that I'll be doing. My work is created to interact with those that enjoy themes of hypnosis, influence, and power exchange. Please share them, as this brings others that are attracted to these themes into our circle. These words were created with passion, kindness, and appreciation in order to share what I enjoy with those seeking the right fit together. That's just part of the benefit and pleasure of sharing, and it also makes me happy. Seek the Tao of the Crown. Anyway, we're going to begin with an example of anchoring that will demonstrate one of our strongest emotions, passions, and wanton love. So before I go on, I wanted to comment that I was asked why I chose love, because this is an emotion that we will be exploring with this exercise. And essentially, the 6 basic emotions are sadness, happiness, fear. They were expanded on and on, but the majority of the emotions that are shared cross-culturally are negative. I'm not looking for negative right now. I'm looking for something that's unifying, positive, and is great to bring people together. So essentially, if you're curious about the 6 basic emotions, you could find Paul Ekman in the 70s came out with this model where it was happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise. But later on, he expanded the list to include things like pride, shame, embarrassment, and excitement. There's some really good things there, but I don't think there's anything there as important or as significant as this kind of love. So to do this exercise, permit yourself to express an emotional reaction. Just be open to it. Emotion is an energy that moves us. For centuries, poets and priests have reflected on the power of emotion. Recognizing it can suddenly take control of thought and behavior. This is going to be a mythic love that we're talking about here. It's been a love that's been written about in countless stories. It's been expressed in song. It's been felt, held on to, thirsted for, and ravished lovers with. And the best way to describe it is like the desert yearning for the rain. So if you've never experienced it, you can imagine it. If you have experienced it, you can enjoy indulging in it. This experience is for you, and it will be something you can take with you that has the power to transform how you live today. To do this exercise, if we were in person, you would need these materials. If you're just imagining it with me right now, you still may want a pen, a few pages of paper, a Sharpie, 3 paper cups, access to clean drinking water. If you're going to use a bottle of water, that's the easiest. Me, definitely need me. Your imagination and your subconscious mind. Again, if you're just going to imagine this, those are all the materials that we'll use, and you can just imagine having them close by. So right now, I'd like you to draw a circle on a blank piece of paper that represents this experience of passionate, mythic love. It's likely something you've been told about your entire life. Just a piece of paper giving you the time to do that. There'll be moments during this recording that you can hit pause, jot down any notes, or really flush out an experience if you need to think about it and immerse yourself into it a little more. Okay, I'm going to repeat that line again. I'd like you to draw a circle on a blank piece of paper that represents this experience of passionate mythic love. It doesn't matter if you stop believing in it or you've never felt it. During this moment, permit yourself to feel what can be and imagine what that is for yourself, as if your story brought you here to experience this. Every heart was given a mythic glory and energy, and that glory is being restored and tuned to resonate with this. So, embody these ideas and feelings. Draw your circle below, and if you're going to look at this PDF, you'll see mine. I drew it over and over, drawing my pen. That circle, to me, began to represent the feedback of both the people and me. So when we experience this kind of love, this energy and emotion for the first time, it can change us because we may never have dreamed something like this was possible. This circle is the give of energy, emotion, passion, service, and activity that's established as we recognize that the story that tells us what is happening. Sometimes a person is the last to know what has happened until they drink from this mythic experience, which allows them to recognize their thirst for it. They are only then able to have words for this. As we explore these words and learn about how personalized elements fit into this story, I want you to think about 3 things and 3 things only that must be present to define this mythic passion and love within your story. Take a moment, because we're going to list one of those 3 things quickly. If you got them all and can list them now, great, but you don't have to. You just need one of those things right now. So you can pause the recording and get that down on paper. Perfect. So, number 1, I'm kinky. I'm a hypnodom. And as a hypnodom, the first element I would choose here is ecstasy. I would draw a small circle on the one that I just drew, connecting that circle to the top of that large circle that I drew, representing that love. So I'd like you to do the same. Just if you're imagining it, just draw a little circle. And again, as I drew it, I sort of imagine putting that energy, putting that emotion into that small circle, doing it again and again, tracing it around. And as I describe this to you, I'll keep my pen on the paper, drawing it. And I'd like you to do the same as I share how I recognize and see ecstasy in this story. To me, ecstasy refers to an overwhelming emotional state of being, taking you beyond reason, beyond self-control. Trance, where a person drinks in extreme happiness or pleasure, I want that pleasure for myself and the ones pleasing me to be ecstatic with my desire, joy, and energy. I want them to be filled with it. In those moments, one person recognizes they have connected and become an extension of the other. This is something authentic, and not everyone is a fit for it. That is the reason that the fit is so good. That is the reason I want someone this is right for. So pause here now and please tell me how you would recognize that first element in your life or in your story that you imagine. So you can hit the pause button, you can jot it down, you can say it out loud, but make sure you do this. Perfect. Welcome back. Next, let's take a minute and describe the second element in your life or story for this mythic passion and love to stir within you. Mine, well, it's loyalty. And as I describe this to you, I will keep my pen on the paper, drawing that small circle, again, connecting it to the line on the bottom. And I'll be sharing how I recognize and see this in the story that I imagine. Because in my life and this story, loyalty means you have each other's back. And it's a trust, well, it's a level of trust that goes beyond the ordinary. That the people we are for each other is what matters as we make life that honors this experience, that builds it and creates something of our own adventure and story of a lifetime. We're stronger together, more vital as individuals because of our commitment to and investment in one another. We shelter and protect each other. The more united we become, the better our lives will be. We continually remind each other who we are and what we share. The service here shares sparks of the essence of this love that draws us together within the story. This makes it ours. That's what came out of me as I was thinking about loyalty and this mythic love. So now, please tell me how you recognize your second element in your life, your story that you imagine. So hit pause here. If you need to, please say it out loud or write it down. We'll be back in a moment. Perfect. Welcome back. Next, let's take a minute and describe the third element in your life or your story for this mythic passion and love to stir within you. The last element for this, for me, is surrender. So I'll be putting my pen on the paper, drawing that circle, connecting it to the line over and over as I describe this to you. You can do the same. Surrender in my life and this story, I imagine it doesn't mean giving up or losing anything. It is allowing myself to let go of things that aren't right or wasting energy. And sometimes that means asking for help. Sometimes it means allowing someone else to lead the way. Surrendering can mean opening up to oneself and the experience of being with someone. It can mean allowing someone else to care for me and letting go of my own passed down expectations and shoulds. Surrendering will enable me to experience the openness of my life without limitations of society or culture. As I said, just this is for us to define, to allow me to open up to my senses, to my own story, and encourage my partner to do the same. Surrendering allows me to be in the moment, this story, and assist myself in knowing what I want to make part of what comes next. Surrender can mean so much more, but that makes it essential in my life and the story that I imagine. Please tell me now how you would recognize this element in your life story and what you imagine. Whether you say it out loud or you pause this recording, please do that now. Perfect. Welcome back. Now I want you to draw that original big circle again. That big circle represents the experience of passionate mythic love. On this page again, it's giving off that energy that you've embodied within it, that you've transformed it as a symbol of something else. It is that passionate mythic love for you. And I would like you to physically get or imagine you have those 3 paper cups ready and a Sharpie marker. Out of those 3 essential elements for passionate mythic love in your life story, I'd like you to choose the most important right now. I'd like you to write the name of that element on the cup and place it back on the line in the circle. Pause this now if you'll be doing it in real life. If you're imagining that, just imagine going through these steps. And I'd like you to choose the second most essential element for you now and write the name of that element on the cup and place it back on the line of the circle. Lastly, I'd like you to choose the third most essential element for you. Write the name of that element of passionate mythic love on that cup and place it back on the line of the circle. Perfect. I'd like you to collect the water, have it close. So if it's a bottle of water, that's perfect. If you're imagining this, you're already set. I want you to make sure you've unscrewed the water cap and put one hand on that first cup, the most important element of passionate mythic love. I want you to imagine all the things that could happen across a lifetime of feeling this emotion, of being part of this story as you had this. Step into that story and see what you would see, hear what you would hear, feel what you would feel, and allow those things to quickly happen. When you've done that, pour just a little bit of water into that first cup. Perfect. Remove your hand, put down the water, and give your fingers a little wiggle. This is where the magic happens. Perfect. Now, put one hand on the second cup of passionate mythic love, and I want you to imagine all the things that could happen across a lifetime of feeling this emotion with this element. Step into that story, those associations that come up. through this element. See what you would have saw, hear what you would have heard, listen to what is around you, feel what you would feel. Allow those things to happen quickly. When you have that, when you've done that, pour just a little bit of water into the second cup. Remove your hand, put down the water, and give your fingers a little wiggle. This intensifies the emotion and connection to the story. And you can tell you're already feeling the excitement. You're feeling happy. You're feeling the energy. Perfect. Put one hand on that third cup of passionate mythic love. I want you to imagine all the things that could happen across a lifetime of feeling this emotion. Feel what inspires. It comes out from this element. Step into that story. See what you would have seen. Hear what you would have heard. Feel what you would have felt. And allow those things to happen quickly. When you've done that, pour just a little bit of that water into the third cup. Remove your hand. Put down the water and give your fingers a little wiggle. Imagine this has built up the emotion and the connection to the story 3 times now, making it 3 times as strong. 3 times as strong. In a moment, but not yet, I want you to move the first one of those cups to the center of the circle. Moving slowly now, put your hand on that first element. Move it slowly to the center. Thinking about any thoughts, associations, positive emotions, or memories that come forward in your mind with this element. Allow yourself to notice how being close to each of these elements makes you feel, resonating with that energy, imagination, and comfort of being close to each one. As you get it to the center of that circle, pause. Write down anything you'd like to write down. Feel it. Perfect. Now, I'd like you to go to the second element. Feeling the intensity and the strength move up as you move this into the center of the circle. Sharing any thoughts, associations, positive emotions, or memories that come to mind for this element. Allow yourself to notice how being close to each element makes you feel. Resonating with that energy, imagination, and comfort of being so close, moving it together. Perfect. Now the last one. Putting your hand on that cup, slowly moving it close, noticing it's intensifying as it moves closer together in the center of that circle. Getting stronger, building up, and you're sharing any thoughts, noticing the associations, the positive emotions, what's being stirred inside for you. Allow yourself to notice how being close, listening to that story, feeling that experience makes you resonate with the energy. Enjoy the imagination and the comfort of being close as each one comes together. Perfect. Now, recognize, notice what it was like having all those elements getting closer together for you. What's significant about that to you? Write down whatever comes out, say it out loud. But did you notice how bringing them closer together may have changed their level of intensity even as I was saying it. The anticipation and the excitement was building. Closer you got to the center of the circle, wasn't it? Perfect. Write that down. Any thoughts you would like right now? You can pause this if you need to. Now, I'd like you to watch what happens when I combine these elements. I will pick up the first cup. So right now, everyone is imagining this in their mind if they're listening to this. And I'm going to pick up cup number 3. I'm going to pick up this cup and pour it slowly into the second cup. Slowly into the second cup. Then I'm going to stack that cup below the other cup together. Now I'm going to pick up the first cup. I'm going to pick up the first cup, slowly pour that liquid into the other cup. And I'm going to put that cup underneath the other cups. And I place this cup down in the center of the circle. Can you describe this experience as you watch this? Imagined it now. Perfect. All right. Now I pick up this cup and I drink it down. Describe your reaction. Thank you for listening to this, and I hope it was a good reaction. I look forward to hearing from those who go through the course and for those who are listening to this now. Take care and be well.